Australian, and he definitely touched the back of he put him very, very wide indeed. Andrea Dovizioso, we ride with Jorge Lorenzo. They come onto the back straight for the first time. Who's got the grunt? Who's got the power? Who's brave under the brakes into turn 5? We're about to find out.
It's the Ducati power that's enabled Andrea, Andrea Dovizioso hit the front. Valentino Rossi got a real poor launch off the line. He got a wheelie, and then as the rear tyre dug in, it spun up off the grid on the dirty part of the track, and Rossi has done brilliantly to come back into second place, already ahead of his teammate Jorge Lorenzo. Dovizioso leads on the Ducati. Andrea Iannoni's back down in 8th place after that very early tangle with Dani Pedrosa.
They're down at turn 7 and 8. Dovizioso still leads the way. Dani Pedrosa tries to fight back, but Rossi closes up on Dovizioso. There's Marc Marquez. Look at Vinales up the inside now of Jorge Lorenzo. That little dip, turn 9. Now down towards turn 10, and the fast left-hander at 11.
Lorenzo's being really super cautious. He got the whole shot down into the first corner, but he's being swallowed up on this opening lap. Lorenzo now back down into 5th place, and under real pressure from the fast-starting Hector Barbera.
We ride with Valentino Rossi through turn 13. Momentarily upright, then tip it into 14. Second place, Dovizioso crosses the line in the lead. Rossi right behind him. Marquez, they've opened that tree up, just opened up a little bit of a gap. Rossi sniffs up the inside of Dovizioso and thinks no. Marquez closes up on Rossi.
Who's right on Valentino Rossi's back wheel? It's none other than Marc Marquez. Here we go, we're on board with the Spaniard through turn number 2. He's chasing the Italians, Andrea Dovizioso and Valentino Rossi. Lorenzo came over the line in 5th place. He's still in that 6th place, under real pressure though from Hector Barbera. Valentino Rossi won't be able to slipstream that Ducati down the back straight. Look at the legs that the Ducati's got on that Yamaha. Pulls about 5 or 6 bike lengths. No way for Rossi to attack down in turn 5. Cal Crutchlow and Aleix Espargaro have crashed out. It's come up on our monitors here. Crutchlow and Espargaro crashed out of the race.
Well, not even 1.5 laps gone. We're in 1.5 laps now. Jorge Lorenzo is coming under pressure from Hector Barbera. He made the whole shot. He is struggling. Rossi closes up on Dovizioso once again. Marquez seemingly look quite happy to watch just from behind. Well, this is familiar territory, isn't it? Rossi and Dovizioso going at each other like this.
Aleix Espargaro and Cal Crutchlow have rejoined the race, but the man who's really struggling is Jorge Lorenzo. Got a good launch off the line, but he just can't run the pace. Overcautious. The reigning world champions Marc Marquez lines up Valentino Rossi down to turn number 13. Rossi's the master of the late braking move. No way through for Marc Marquez. Rossi closed up on Andrea Dovizioso. Marquez, what an onboard shot that is from Rossi as they flick it left through turn number 14. Over the line, Dovizioso leads. Rossi from Marquez.
Up the start and finish straight. This is where Marquez crashed at the end of qualifying yesterday. We ride with Valentino Rossi. Once again, Marquez closes up on him. Round turn 2, up towards the left-hander at turn 3. Vinales is absolutely flying at the moment in 4th place with Iannoni.
It's getting pretty tight between Marc Marquez and Valentino Rossi. Jack Miller's a man on the charge. Jack Miller is up to 7th place. He got ahead of Hector Barbera on that previous lap. He's now hunting down Jorge Lorenzo, the Australian. Yamaha just hasn't got the legs of the Ducati. Can Rossi get in the slipstream and get close enough to move out and make a brave move down at turn number 5? He thought about no. Dovizioso is so good late on the brakes.
Rossi did think about it, but Dovizioso strong on the brakes. Don't forget, if you just tuned in, if you've forgotten, I had, because I'm so excited what's happening in the front. This is a flag-to-flag race. They have to come in at the end of neither 9, 10 or 11. Fight it out at the front here. The 2 behind are closing up on them to make it a 5-sum.
Johnny Hernandez has crashed out of the race. Was Jack Miller moving through on Jorge Lorenzo at the back of our picture there. Marc Marquez then up the inside of Valentino Rossi. Beautiful move up at turn number 9. He holds it through turn number 10. Marquez then up into 2nd place. Next to his side is Andrea Dovizioso. Marquez closes right up on the rear of that Ducati. Can he make a move down into turn number 13?
He's thinking about it at 13, as you say. Dovizioso late on the brakes. Here comes Marquez up the inside. The Honda leads the way. Does it run it wide? No. Pulls back across the track into 14. 3 great laps gone, and Marquez now leads the way.
Marquez, what a 3rd lap from the Spaniard. Picked off Rossi up at turn number 9, and 3 corners later disposed of Andrea Dovizioso. The fastest man on track is the man in 5th place, Andrea Iannoni, who was caught up in a bit of a tangle down at the first corner. Rossi under pressure now from Maverick Vinales. Jack Miller, we just saw at the top of your picture, has picked up Jorge Lorenzo. Brilliant from the Martin VDS rider. Miller up into 6th place. Lorenzo still struggling.
Onto the back straight they come. So Marquez leads, Dovizioso, Rossi, there is Vinales.
Miller's gone down. Sorry, I think Jack Miller crashed out at the top of the picture. I'm pretty sure we've just lost Jack Miller out of 6th place. He just made a move on Lorenzo. Andrea Dovizioso's blitzed back past Marc Marquez. Marquez has got the inside on at turn number 5. Is the door open for Rossi as well to sweep up on the inside? Rossi cuts it back around the outside of Dovizioso. Frantic action at the front in Argentina.
Marquez leads, and Rossi just holds on to that second place as they come down now towards turn 7 and 8.
Unfortunately, we did lose Jack Miller. He was in a fight for 6th place with Jorge Lorenzo. He's gone down at turn number 3. That leaves Jorge Lorenzo in a pretty lonely 6th place at the moment. Andrea Dovizioso went from 1st to 3rd in a matter of a couple of seconds. Here is Miller.
Yeah, we're going to watch it now, yeah. Just coming through turn 3, coming onto that back straight. Whoa, a lot of damage to the Mark VDS Honda. What do you do here, Dylan? 9, 10 or 11 in this sort of situation? Do you try to come in early? Do you wait? It's very important when they do come in.
No, I think do come in early. I mean, Marquez's pit boy, they're telling him L5, so it looks like he'll be coming in right in the middle. Looks like he'll be coming in on lap number 10 with Tito Rabat. They have L4, for instance, so it looks like he'll be in straight away on lap number 9. Do you know what? If you can try and get equal laps on both tyres, that's where you can ultimately get the maximum out of it. So you could argue that coming in on lap number 10 would probably be your best bet.
Coming into turn 2, Marquez leads the way. Now Iannone beginning to put a bit of pressure on his teammate Andrea Dovizioso. That pressure didn't last because he crashed out of the race. Boy, what is it like down in pit lane, Dylan? They must be frantically waiting.
Well, and that's kind of what it is. I mean, it's so quiet here because, you know, they're just counting down. The bikes are all completely ready, but, you know, I tell you, once it's another 2-3 laps, that's when you have the mechanics there, because obviously they need to time warming the bike up, getting the tyre warmers on. It's, yeah, I mean, it'll be a very tense time in a few laps.
Aleix Espargaro back in the race.
Yeah, you can see he's got some crash damage there on the inside. What happened here? Cal Crutchlow, Aleix Espargaro's gone really, really wide. That was like a tandem front-end separate instance between Cal Crutchlow and Andrea Dovizioso. And who can win the 100-metre sprint to pick up their bikes?
Good job they got on the right bikes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Cal Crutchlow signs for Suzuki there. I think he was going to jump on the wrong bike. Both okay, but both missed out the chance. There is chance for points there, though, isn't there? That's the most important thing. Marquez is piling on the pressure at the front. Marquez knows if he can build up a good advantage, he can get in there and change bikes as quick as he can. And Iannone having problems getting past Dovizioso, but he's through.
Beautiful move by Iannone. Dovizioso cuts it back at the inside of turn number 13. Great fight between the two. Back to the Galilei. Marquez, he knew to get to the front of this field. He wants to be the first man into the pit lane. You don't want to be getting caught up with anybody else in those bike swaps. Maverick Vinales has run wide at the first corner. We just saw his teammate Aleix Espargaro. Aleix Espargaro just running way too hot. He got onto the wide part of the circuit. On the dirty part, Lorenzo's down. Jorge Lorenzo, the reigning world champion, has crashed out of the first corner. He was having a nightmare. It's just got worse.
Lorenzo crashes out, and it looks like it is the end of the race for the world champion and the race winner in Qatar 2 weeks ago. It's over for Jorge Lorenzo. He walks away. No points for the world champion and the championship leader.
Just didn't get going at all, Nick, in that race. Losing the front through very late in the corner through that turn number 1. What a disaster for Lorenzo. He just didn't get going. He was running, what, 0.6 of a second a lap off of the lead group.
Well, they're on their 7th lap at the moment. Let's ride with Lorenzo. Yeah, we've seen many a man go down there this weekend, but that's the biggest mistake of them all, isn't it?
Was he a fraction offline, just onto a dirty part of the track? You know, did he just clip? There are still the odd damp patches scattered around this circuit. We saw Alex Marquez and Franco Morbidelli have problems there in the Moto2 race. Maybe he just clipped a damp patch, but Lorenzo is out of the race. He didn't even make it to the 9th, 10th or 11th lap to swap bikes.
Tell you at the front, as a Dovizioso and Iannone, it's making good entertainment. It's great to watch, but what they're doing, they're letting Rossi and Marquez just clear off at the front. But Rossi is not letting Marquez get away.
Yeah, Marquez is just able to eke out a 1/10 of a second every lap. 1:48 on the last lap. Rossi was a 1:40.9. So we've had plenty of drama already so far. We've had crashes for Cal Crutchlow and Aleix Espargaro. They're both back in the race. But the big news, the world champion Jorge Lorenzo, who was struggling down in 6th place, has crashed out at the first corner. What, we're on lap number 7, so we've got 2 more laps before you are eligible to come into the pits.
We're riding Marquez onto the back straight. That is the gap. Visually you can see between him and Valentino Rossi, 1st and 2nd. Reminds us of last year when the gap was bigger than that and Rossi closed him down and got past him. And then of course there was the collision as they go through turn 5. They must be getting ready now, Dylan, in pit lane.
Not yet. I mean, you've got one mechanic with each Repsol Honda bike, but you know what, this is an extremely fast process. The bikes are... All they need to do is tyre warmers off, fire them up, and then they're good to go. They'll be doing that exactly on the lap when they're about to come in.
Is there something loose hanging off the back of Marc Marquez's Repsol Honda? I'm pretty sure from that aerial shot we saw something hanging off the back of... Look at this was the start for Rossi. Got a shocker, wheelie off the line, and then when the rear tyre grips, massive wheel spin. And watch Andrea Iannone on the number 29, the far left-hand side of your screen. Oh, Andrea Iannone was in way too hot. You could see him stamping all over the rear brake. The rear was hopping up, caught Danny Pedrosa. The luckless Danny Pedrosa, absolutely nothing he could do. Pushed him out onto the slippery part of the track. Yeah. On board with Marquez.
He made a decent start, but Lorenzo made a fabulous start. Danny Pedrosa actually made a good start, didn't he, from the second row?
Marc Marquez was really lucky at it, because Andrea Iannone got him just way too hot on the inside. Couldn't stop that Ducati. Clearly made contact with the back of Marc Marquez, and as he ran wide, he took Pedrosa out wide. Well, I'm not sure actually if that impact might have actually knocked Marc Marquez's onboard rear-facing onboard camera loose. That might be what's dangling down. That's probably from... It is. I'm sure that's probably from that early contact with Andrea Iannone.
Deja vu. Remember, 12 months ago, it was very much like this. The difference here today is it's got to be flag to flag. Rossi really closes up on the two Ducatis, still hold off the Suzuki of Vinales. Decision time is coming up. They've got to start thinking about when they're going to come in. Oh, without a doubt, you can see it as clear as daylight now. I think it is the onboard camera that's come off, and it's with the collision. Here there was the collision with Andrea Iannone, spot on that.
Took a fair old whack on the seat unit from Andrea Iannone, didn't he, Marc Marquez? Lucky actually to stay on.
Sorry guys, just to butt in, so we now have the factory Ducati mechanics out in pit lane ready, and both the Repsol Honda team guys as well. The Suzuki guys have come out as well, and the Aprilia is also starting to move.
What will be interesting to see, well, obviously, it won't matter because the camera will. But Marc, as you would imagine, will come in as soon as he can. He must know, but perhaps he doesn't know there's something wrong.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to affect his speed in any kind of way. Do you know what I mean? He's not going to feel that onboard camera moving around. As long as the actual rear seat unit isn't broken, then it shouldn't be a problem.
There's nothing between those two. From Maverick Vinales has worked his way up into third place. He took both at the back through Ducatis on that previous lap. There's nothing between Rossi and Marc Marquez. Rossi's just putting the best lap of the race, a 140.6. The good thing is that for Marc Marquez, if there are any problems with that onboard camera, he's got to come in, of course, and change bikes.
So that's absolutely right. I think they're coming in race direction. They can now pit. Swapping bikes is mandatory.
Marquez now has box written on his pit board.
Yeah, Marc Marquez, he got it all scored. Coming out of turn number 3. The rear was hopping around all over the track. Big wheel spin from Marquez, and that's all Valentino Rossi needed. Rossi sweeps up the inside of Marc Marquez. Marquez, though, cuts it back brilliantly. Rossi was in a fraction too hot. This is what we wanted, a showdown in Argentina again between Marc Marquez and Valentino Rossi.
Is there going to be a showdown in pit lane? Are they going to come in together for the flag-to-flag race just to add that little bit more drama? Here we go. Here Marquez on the replay. Does Rossi? Yes, he does. Runs it fair bit wide going into turn 5, and he's back in front.
Yeah. And Rossi's mechanics are now taking the tyre warmers off, and Marquez's mechanics ready as well, so it looks like they'll come in tandem.
It could not be closer. This is absolutely magnificent motorcycle racing. Valentino Rossi in second place. Marc Marquez leads the way. A mandatory flag-to-flag race. It does appear both of them will be coming in.
Well, they've gone round again, so they'll probably be coming in. They're saying now, Marc Marquez clearly, you can see their box. So they'll go round for this lap. Will the two leaders, Maverick Vinales and Andrea Iannone, and the first two in. Vinales on the Suzuki. The pit lane's open, and Vinales and Andrea Iannone have come in.
So the Suzuki and the Ducati are in. Flag to flag, hand goes up. Vinales swaps pretty quick. Vizioso, you imagine, would be the same. Looks like Danny Pedrosa has come in as well.
Yeah, Eugene Laverty has, so has Loris Baz, Hector Barbara, Stefan Bradl there. You can see the two Vinci Ducatis heading back out onto the track.
An absolutely fantastic swap over from Vinales. He really gained quite a few metres on there. Iannone in there.
Rossi closes right up on Marquez once again.
This is like a carbon copy.
It's deja vu, isn't it? It really is. Rossi right behind Marquez. Does he want to just get past him on the brakes? And Rossi leads the way, and they're both going to come into the pits together, and now Marquez retakes the lead.
This is all about not track position, but pit position for the pit lane. They want to be the first one in, because then you'll have the advantage coming out. It's a real shame that Andrea Iannone damaged that rear-facing onboard camera of Marc Marquez, because we've been getting some absolutely brilliant shots now of Valentino Rossi. They're going to come in this time. We saw on both their pit boards clear communication box, so they are going to be coming in. They come down now to turn number 13. Marquez has got the advantage then coming into the pits. Here they come, the two leaders. Rossi together.
Here they come, Dylan. Oh, he looks one way and Ross is the other way. engine limiters on. 93 and 46, they're at it once again. They're both in to swap machines. A mandatory flag to flag here in Argentina.
Rossi's got it nailed. He's out on that factory Yamaha. Marquez, no surprise, the first thing he does is have a glance over his right shoulder to see where Valentino Rossi's. There's Andrea Dovizioso as well on the number 4 Ducati. So this is it now. Marquez and Rossi head back out onto the track.
And guys, just a quick word to sort of point out with the flag to flags, can be quite dangerous. One about this, just a little bit of a knock when he came in. He looks okay there, got a few medics attending to him. Nothing too serious, but it just shows how tricky these conditions can be.
I tell you what, that was it's Tito Rabat holding up Valentino Rossi. They're not deliberately, of course, but Marquez actually got out in front of him, didn't he, into turn 1, and he's gonna get that throttle open now, and Rossi's got to get past him.
Yeah, and Valentino Rossi, he ran a little bit wide into that turn number 2 as well. You know, just you've got to remember that they've had tyre warmers on these bikes, but the tyres won't be up to temperature. The brakes as well. Valentino Rossi looked like he just ran a little bit too up there because he hasn't got the temperature yet in those carbon brakes. So, yeah, was that the deciding moment of this race?
So they come in together. There was certainly no difference in the advantage when they came in and when they went out, but it's actually when they got back on the track, wasn't it?
That was an absolutely dream, perfect bike swap by Marc Marquez. And then with Valentino Rossi just perhaps not getting confidence in that front end on that new tyre, not up to temperature just yet. And Marc Marquez, well, he's already gapping Valentino Rossi in a big, big way.
9.5 laps to go, round 2 of the MotoGP World Championship. Mandatory flag to flag. They go through the other riders in the field just when I think things have settled down after the flag to flag bit. It's pretty simple to see what's happening at the front. Marquez leads the way from Rossi, and Rossi, I think Matt is dead right, just a little bit cautious at the moment, and Marquez has really got the hammer down. Can he open up too big advantage, even too big an advantage for Valentino Rossi?
It's been an absolute nightmare for Rossi, Nick, because they came into the pits side by side. Rossi now is 2.7 seconds behind Marc Marquez. It could already be race over. The difference in lap times, Marquez on his first flying lap on his second bike, put in a 2:03.134. Valentino Rossi did a 2:05.750.
Here is Marc Marquez, race winner here a couple of years ago, 3rd in that opening round of the championship in Qatar. And looks in extremely good nick at the moment as he comes down towards turn 5. Look at that gap. He is just opening it out every metre of this circuit.
Yeah, it's up to over 3 seconds. Marc Marquez. Look at those black scuff marks on his leathers. I would imagine that's probably from the impact made by Andrea Iannoni's Ducati very early on in the race. But Marc Marquez at the moment with 9 laps to go. He's got this race under complete control now. He's coming under real intense pressure from that man there, Valentino Rossi. But, you know, was Rossi, as he came out the pit lane, just momentarily distracted by Tito Rabat?
I think
on the inside.
I think
Rossi couldn't cut back to the line because Rabat was there, and then Rossi just didn't have any temperature in his front brake and no temperature in the front tyre. No such problems for Marc Marquez. He's just pulling away at the front now. 3.5 seconds is the advantage over Rossi.
Right, let's have a look a bit further down. Viñales in 3rd place as Marquez crosses the line. There are 8 laps to go. Rossi, we see him across the line. Viñales, Dovizioso, Iannoni. Was Tito Rabat, it won't be now because he's just pulled in. Well, pulled in the previous lap. So there's a fair old gap now. Next through probably will be Dani Pedrosa. There is Dani Pedrosa, he crosses the line. Scott Redding going well in 7th place. Hector Barbara 8th. Paul Espargaro 9th. Eugene Lafferty, that would be his best ever MotoGP result in 10th. 11th is Stefan Brand going well on the Aprilia. Then we have a Tito Rabat. Bradley Smith having a really, really tough time at the moment in 13th place. Loris Baz and Cal Crutchlow, despite the crash, completing the point scoring.
Yeah, you have to feel sorry for Dani Pedrosa because he was the innocent victim of a bit of a pushing and shoving down the first corner. Look at that, Ducati GP15 of Scott Redding. It's a big experience for Redding, dicing with Dani Pedrosa, and Redding makes a move, use the slipstream of the Ducati. Well, he didn't really need a slipstream, to be fair. That Ducati is so quick. So Scott Redding there now, up inside the top 6.
Yeah, everything that happened to Scott Redding yesterday and all the problems afterwards with the discussions about tyres. This is a tremendous ride by Scott Redding.
Yeah, just quickly going back to that lead duo. Marc Marquez now is 4.3 seconds clear of Valentino Rossi. Not even Rossi is going to claw that back. That was just 8 laps to go. Scott Redding's already stretched a bit of an advantage over Dani Pedrosa. Marquez over the line then. The gap now 4.8 seconds. He's 1.1 seconds a lap faster than Valentino Rossi. And Valentino Rossi actually will be doing pretty well at the moment to keep these three at bay, because Maverick Vinales is only 1.6 seconds behind him, and Vinales on the last lap was half a second quicker.
Vinales chasing his first ever podium finish in MotoGP, and the 21-year-old having a great ride. Danny Pedrosa tries to close up on Scott Redding. Scott Redding in 6th place, Hector Barbera in 8th, 9th, Paul Espargaro 10th, Eugene Lafferty in 11th, Stefan Bradl, then Tito Rabat. There is, 6.5 laps to go for Marc Marquez, and a bit more for some on the others. Bradley Smith, Camtrotto has moved in front of Alvaro Pettis, in front of Loris Baz, who himself now is pulled in for his mandatory flag to flag. Yeah, he did brilliantly when he came out of pit lane, didn't he, Marc Marquez? He just got in front of Tito Rabat.
But just look at the lap time difference since they returned to the track. Lap 11, Marquez was 2.6 seconds faster. Lap 12, a second faster. He's just been taking huge chunks out of Valentino Rossi. At the moment, it looks like it'll be sweet revenge for Marc Marquez in Argentina. Maverick Vinales still holding that 3rd place. He's going to come under severe pressure, though, from the 2 factory Ducatis behind him. Andrea Dovizioso and Andrea Iannone were half a second faster than Vinales on the last lap.
Here is Marquez coming to turn 14, that familiar number 93. There'll be 6 laps to go for the race winner here a couple of years ago, up towards turn 1 where he went down in a big heat in qualifying yesterday, but it was still started the race in pole position. Yeah, Rossi 6 seconds down now.
Valentino Rossi struggling here, Nick. 1.2 seconds slower than Marc Marquez on that last lap, and now the gap to Maverick Vinales in 3rd is down to under a second. There we go, there's Rossi coming up to turn 2, and the Vinales, Dovizioso and Iannone hunting the 9 times world champion down.
Yeah, 5.5 laps to go, and Rossi running second, beginning to find himself way off the podium if this progress continues. There is Rossi as they come onto the back straight. Dovizioso, Iannone behind him. We know how fast those Ducatis are down here, down towards turn 5, and it looks like there's some pretty major problems for the race winner here last year as they break into turn 5. 5.5 laps to go, round 2 of the World Championship. Scott Redding in 6th. Danny Pedrosa behind him in 7th place.
Rossi's just had no pace at all since the bike swap. He's just doing mid-141s. Marc Marquez comfortably in the low 140s. Hector Barbera having a fight with Paul Espargaro. There's Eugene Lafferty. This will be by far his best MotoGP result. Currently running in 10th place, holding off the German Stefan Bradl on the factory Aprilia. What about that gap? Rossi to Vinales, Nick, now is just a 10th of a second. Valentino Rossi is under real pressure. The 9 times world champion is really struggling out there at the moment. Vinales is going to attack down at this turn number 13. Can he get close enough? This is worrying times for Valentino Rossi. He might even be pushed off the podium.
I tell you, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, isn't it? Vinales is going to take this. Obviously some major problems with the second machine since the swap over, since the mandatory flag to flag for Valentino Rossi. Into turn 1 they come. The 2 Ducatis, they've been at each other's throats throughout the race so far. Just under 5 laps to go. Rossi still running in 2nd place. Vinales, first ever MotoGP podium. The 2 Ducatis still slogging out behind him. Rossi's trying all he can to fight off Vinales.
Maverick Vinales is performing heroics on that Suzuki. Look at it, it's tying itself in knots. That's how hard he's pushing. Coming out turn number 3. The Ducatis behind him will close up in the slipstream. The Ducati's got brutal horsepower down that back straight. Now this is turning out to be a real thrilling fight. At 4th, 2nd place, I'll promise to Scott Redding on the Pramac Ducati.
Yeah, mechanical problems obviously. Looks like his race is over. That's cruel luck for Scott Redding, who is running an absolutely brilliant 6th place and fighting off the challenge of Danny Pedrosa.
He was pulling chunks of time out of Danny Pedrosa. He'd almost moved 1 second clear of the Spaniard. That's really cruel. It's been a horrible weekend for Scott Redding. You can just see, gutted, frustrated. That's really difficult to take on the chin after all he's gone through this weekend so far.
Valentino Rossi is not going to make life easy for these boys behind him, is he? He's trying all he can to keep Vinales, Dovizioso and Iannone at bay. Here is Vinales running in 3rd place. Then he doesn't want to take too many risks because he wants to finish on the podium. But if he doesn't keep the pace right up, the Ducatis are going to step him in and pass him, aren't they?
Yeah, Rossi's definitely responded because for the first time in a few laps he's back in the 140s. So he's got the message. He knows there's a bit of a freight train building up behind him. Rossi's struggling with the front end of that Yamaha. That's been his problem since the restart. He had a big moment there coming through the first corner. Valentino Rossi is all with the front end. He's out a little bit wide again through turn number 2. That's allowed Vinales to close up again. Rossi's just had no front end confidence since the restart.
Well, they're very, very close indeed as they come onto the back straight down towards turn 5. Can he be close enough? Here comes Maverick Vinales, side by side on the brakes. Rossi won't let him through. Vinales on the Suzuki, still trying to get up the inside. Rossi just holds the advantage.
Yeah, Valentino Rossi's gone from thinking he might win this Argentinian Grand Prix now to fighting tooth and nail just to cling on to a podium place. Andrea Dovizioso's just being dropped off this battle for second. Don't write off Andrea Iannone. He's an aggressive attacking rider. He'll fancy his chances of closing down on Valentino Rossi. You have to say he's doing a brilliant job so far of defending that second place. We finally see the sun beating through the clouds here in Argentina. Sun shining on Marc Marquez, no doubt about that. He's 7 seconds clear of this battle.
This is the battle for second place. We thought it was only a matter of time that Vinales got past Rossi, but somehow Rossi is hanging on, and Vinales in turn is now coming under real pressure from the Ducati of Andrea Iannone into turn 12. Marc Marquez crosses the line. 3 laps to go in this 20-lap race as he tips it into turn 1. What is happening behind?
All Andrea Iannone's got to do now is get tucked right in behind Maverick Vinales' Suzuki. Oh, Maverick Vinales loses the front at the first corner. Disaster for Vinales. He was heading for his first MotoGP podium. It's all gone wrong. Hands in heads for the Suzuki team.
Right, Rossi second, Iannone third. Iannone, I'm sure, will have a go at his friend Valentino Rossi. Here we go.
Oh, he got onto the damp part of the track,
Just saw that little damp bit there, didn't you? And he was coming under pressure from Iannone.
He would have still been trailing the front brake there, Maverick Vinales. You can see he was in a little bit wider than Iannone. Yeah, you can just see that darker piece of tarmac still damp from the rain. Poor old Maverick Vinales down with his first MotoGP World Championship podium within touching distance. That's given Valentino Rossi a bit of breathing space for the podium, because Andrea Dovizioso doesn't look like he's going to be able to claw that gap back. Although, to be fair to Rossi, having realised how much Vinales was putting the pressure on him, he really did respond.
Yeah, he certainly did. Here is the potential race winner, Marc Marquez. Been third here, we've been even won 2 of them. This is the race winner from last year, running in second place. It's been a good ride by Valentino Rossi, challenging for the lead until they swap bikes, the mandatory flag to flag. And the problems after that, Iannone is closing up on him all the time. Even Dovizioso might think, well, we're going to have 2 laps to go. I might fancy to try and have a go here, but they've got to get past Rossi, and that's not going to be easy. But don't forget that Suzuki has got the brute power. And in some ways, it was the presence of Iannone that caused Vinales to crash, wasn't it?
Yeah, Andrea, if you can tag on to the back wheel of Valentino Rossi coming out of turn number 3, then if there's a horsepower shootout to turn number 5, then there's only one winner. That will be Andrea Iannone's Ducati, but Rossi defending brilliantly despite those front end issues. He's out way wide again though, Rossi. He looked so strong, didn't he, in the first half of the race?
He's a potential race winner,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he really did. And now he's fighting to stay on the podium. Rossi on the Yamaha, the 2 Ducatis trying to hunt him down. And hunt him down, they come down towards turn 5. 1.5 laps to go. Here comes Iannone, and I don't think there's anything Valentino Rossi can do. Oh, and Dovizioso sneaks through the 2 of them. Unbelievable move by Andrea Dovizioso.
Yeah, Iannone got him too hot on the brakes at turn number 5, ran a little bit wide. It forced Valentino Rossi to pick up. Andrea Dovizioso just sat at the back of it all and said, thank you very much, I'm coming through. Rossi fights back on Andrea Iannone. These 2 had a great scrap for the final podium place in Australia, in Phillip Island, last October, but Andrea Dovizioso, Christmas came early for him there. What a present.
And what a bit of canny old riding. Well, old head, great on the brake, saw the opportunity, and now he's got the hammer down. So it could be his second successive second place this season, and also here in Argentina. What can Valentino Rossi do? Can he claw back that 3rd place? Don't think there's any doubt about who's going to win the race. 1 lap to go for Marc Marquez here in the Argentinian sunshine.
Yeah, Rossi with it all to do now just to get back on the podium. Remember, in the first part of the race, it looked like he might actually go on and win it for the 2nd year in a row here at the Turnmaster Rio Hondo. Andrea Dovizioso has got about half a second on his teammate Andrea Iannone. So there's real pressure on Valentino Rossi now just to salvage a podium place.
They come through turn 2 into 3, then 4. The right-hander that brings them onto the back straight. Just about half a lap to go here in Argentina. This is where Dovizioso, at the end of this long back straight, made that amazing move. Rossi trying to get a toe. I really don't know if he's got the front end confidence to get in there really hot against Iannone. And Iannone has now opened the throttle and got away from him. Half a lap to go. We ride with Valentino Rossi. Does close right up on the rear wheel of Andrea Iannone.
Yeah, Rossi went from second to fourth in that last lap. Dovizioso went from fourth to second in the blink of an eye. So Rossi now has a look up the inside of Iannone at turn number 7. He's got the inside line. Rossi, can he make it stick? Cuts it back to the apex. No, Andrea Iannone cuts it right back underneath Valentino Rossi. So Rossi was back on the podium, but back now into fourth place. This is brilliant for Dovizioso.
Yeah, half a lap to go. Andrea Dovizioso in second place. Rossi runs it just a little bit wide. Iannone now closing up on Dovizioso. Marquez is going to win. Who is going to finish second? Who is going to finish off the podium? We are about to find out. First of all, salute the race winner, Marc Marquez. Magnificent victory.
Oh, the Ducatis have gone down together. The Ducatis have crashed out together. What a gift for Valentino Rossi. Now, we don't know who was the instigator in that final crash, but what a disaster for Ducati. Andrea Iannone and Andrea Dovizioso out at the final, and that means Dani Pedrosa should be able to come through and take an unlikely third place. Can there be any more drama in Argentina?
Unbelievable. Here is Dani Pedrosa on the podium. The two Ducatis, we don't know who was to blame, took each other out.
Well, through the final sector, through the third split, Nick, it was Dovizioso by 0.3 of a second from Andrea Iannone. Eugene Laverty has crossed the line to finish in fourth place. Hector Barbera fifth, Pol Espargaro 6th. There is poor old Andrea Dovizioso. Must have thought he'd got a successive second place in the bag. He's trying to push that Ducati over the line. Andrea Iannone, well, he looks pretty dejected and deflated. Here we're going to find out what happened.
Here we go, Iannone up the inside. Oh, Iannone, I think, to blame, don't you? Into the side of his teammate Dovizioso, and they both go down. Wow. I don't think there'll be a team dinner tonight, do you?
And you've actually got Dovizioso. He's now running with his bike. He's trying to push it over the finish line so he can actually still finish.
Right, Michele Perez just crossed the line in 12th place. He should actually cross the line in 13th or 14th place.
He's just made it over the line.
So
he's pushed it over the line.
Has he actually got over? Yes, he has. That's 13th place. Well done, Andrea Dovizioso. Marc Marquez totally unaware of the drama behind him.
Turnmaster Rio Hondo's getting a bit of a habit of late drama, isn't it? That was unbelievable. I mean, Andrea Iannone, he'll have a bit of explaining to do in that factory Ducati garage tonight, because it's a cardinal sin, isn't it, to wipe out your teammate.
I mean, OK, he wanted to finish in second place, but they're both on the podium, weren't they? Right. Great ride by Marc Marquez, though. Right back at it. Honda are back at it. The championship now is finally poised. The other big news, Jorge Lorenzo crashing out. Rossi in second place. Eugene Laverty, the Irish rider, in fourth place on that Aspar Ducati. Flag to flag. Well, we don't want them every week, but boy, do they produce some unbelievable results. Here we go. Incident involving Andrea Dovizioso and Andrea Iannone, currently under investigation. I really can't believe Andrea Dovizioso had anything to do with that particular incident.
No, without being too critical of Andrea Iannone, you're quite right, Nick, there was a second place there, but that was way, way over ambitious. Skittling out your teammate at the last corner as well. That's not going to go down at all well with Gigi D'Alino. There's Eugene Laverty, the top non-factory rider. He can't believe it. He's in fourth place. He's in Parc Ferme with Marc Marquez, Valentino Rossi and Dani Pedrosa. Hats off to that man there, because once they'd swapped bikes, Marc Marquez was just in a race of his own. Blitzed away from Valentino Rossi, who did get in a little bit of a tangle with Tito about, and then just didn't have the confidence in the bike that he had in the first part.
He's just checking, sure on fourth? No, you're sure you've added it up right? Yeah, you certainly are. That was a magnificent ride. Dani Pedrosa didn't look happy in third place, didn't he? Picking up some points. Not happy at all. But Marc Marquez wins for the second time here in Argentina, follows up his third place in the opening round in Qatar, and Marc Marquez will be leading that World Championship. He is by 41 points, 8 points in front of Valentino Rossi, who's finished in second place.
Great performance by Marc Marquez. His first win since that controversial Australian Grand Prix in Phillip Island last October. And now, actually, Marc Marquez, just checking the record books, that was Marc Marquez's 25th MotoGP victory, so he's now tying with Kevin that will go to Texas in a few days' time in the all-time winners list. Valentino Rossi, well, we said Christmas would come early for Andrea Dovizioso. Well, it certainly did for Rossi, because that move by Andrea Iannone, which is under investigation, you know, Andrea Iannone has now crashed out of both of the opening 2 rounds of the championship, and he's nicknamed the Maniac, without being too harsh. It was a bit of a silly move at the final corner, because he was on the podium.
An amazing move to make. Valentino Rossi, you take what comes your way, don't you? And he took it. Boy, Lorenzo out of the race. He crashed out. So he now finds himself down in 4th place in the championship, and that's a fair old gap beginning to open out with 16 points between him and Marc Marquez. We go to Austin, Texas, where Marquez has won for the last 3 years in 7 days' time. Dramatic race for many, many different reasons, flag to flag. I think the biggest drama there was the 2 Ducatis going down on that penultimate corner.
And, you know, he can have some explaining to do to Ducati and to race direction probably a little bit later on this evening.
Well, a few people escaped to that one. Danny Pedrosa, I think Stefan Paul, great result for him. Bradley Smith, who'd not looked at all happy in the race, suddenly finds himself in 8th place, and there's TJ Rabat.
What a race, gila banget. Jadi benar-benar bikin gak ngantuk, dan ini kayaknya bergadang di Senin dini hari cukup ya udah nggak rugi ya Matteo ya.
Nggak rugi.
Dan sampai di lap-lap akhir sebetulnya kita udah berdua sayang banget gitu. Rossi harus kehilangan posisi di nomor 2-nya, tapi ternyata duo Ducati.
Iya.
Aduh.
Sayang sekali karena Rossi sebetulnya di race
setelah ganti motor.
Sebelum ganti motor dia sangat kuat sekali, dan confidence dan motornya dia punya confidence luar biasa.
Kita
Danny on the podium after quite an entertaining battle with Scott Redding. But tell us about that. Tell us about the incident in the first turn. That looked like it maybe cost you the chance to fight for the podium.
Yes, I was. I did a good start, and I was running from the outside, and then somebody, I don't know who, came straight through. So I had to avoid. If I kept my line, sure I would crash. So I went totally out, and then in the back of the group was so difficult because the lines they were doing were quite crazy, and of course I couldn't catch up back to my pace. I lost a lot of laps there with the group. Unfortunately, anyway, my pace wasn't any good. I'm very disappointed for that because I did a horrible race. But from the first corner to the end, I just tried to get the bike to the line, bring the bike to the line, and maybe the luckiest day of my racing because everybody was crashing in front, so I could get the podium. But I need to look forward to improve my bike to be faster.
Thank you very much, Danny.
Danny Pedrosa ini memang tidak ikut race di 2015 karena operasi arm pump-nya ya.
Dia nggak senang.
Dia memang nggak dapat pace ya kan selama free practice juga dia memang nggak dapat gitu Matteo. Ini blessing in disguise aja gitu sebenarnya. Tapi sebetulnya startnya cukup bagus ya. Nah, ini kita dengarkan apa komentar Valentino Rossi.
Well, Valentino, that really was a race of 2 halves, I think. In the first one, a great fight with Marc, but then when you came out, you know, you just didn't quite look the same. Mid-141s, it looked like you were struggling quite a lot on bike number 2.
Yes, at the beginning I struggled a bit, but after I take my rhythm and with the first bike I was fast, and I can fight with Marquez, I think. So start the fight, so we start to have fun. But after stop restart, with the second bike, I never feel the same. I start bad, and after I continue to go slow. I wasn't able to ride like the first, and at the end the 2 Ducatis arrive, and I think that without the touch I cannot arrive on the podium. So it's a great result, 20 very important points. I'm so happy because it's the first podium of the season.
Thank you very much, Vale.
Jadi memang betul ya, kelihatan sekali memang setelah dia ganti.
Saya pernah lihat tadi di beberapa tikungan dia tuh beloknya 2 kali.
Iya.
Bukan sekali, tapi dia patah-patahin 2 kali. Itu kelihatan sekali dia punya masalah dengan ban depan.
Oke, kita dengarkan Marc Marquez.
Well, Marc, you started this day with a very entertaining fight with Valentino out there on the first run, but was it that made you push so hard on your second? When you came out, you were just gone?
Yeah, I already know that on the first race was difficult because it still was wet the track, and especially, you know, with the first bike I didn't feel good already in the practice, but on the second one I know that that was the key. My first 5 laps with the new tires, and I pushed my 100%, and yeah.